And welcome to another edition of the Sandhills Global Husker Rewind, powered by ABM. Hi, I'm Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline.com. Nebraska was a 23-16 loser on Saturday at Oklahoma. Tough game for Nebraska. They came out, they fought hard. We're going to hear from two different standout players, though, from Nebraska in that game. First, though, JoJo Domann from the defense led Nebraska in tackles in the game. JoJo, obviously, things didn't go the way you wanted, but I think you guys left Norman with your heads high.
Yeah, I mean, we fought, and that's the first and foremost the thing we want to do, and a step we took as a program, fight and not rolling over for anybody. So that was encouraging, and this is something we're just going to build on. We have to at this point. You know, your losses become your lessons if you're looking at it with the right perspective. So that's what we're going to do moving forward.
You guys were close to a 3-touchdown underdog, and you know, was that something guys talked about all week? Like, no one's given us a chance. Let's go in and show people we're a different football team than they think we are.
Yeah, absolutely. We understood that we were playing for respect, and it would have been really nice if we could have came out on top, but I still think we earned some respect, and honestly, within our locker room, we definitely built up some confidence just in how we played and how we responded, like I alluded to. So we're just going to take this and continue to push forward with it.
Yeah, from a physicality standpoint, I thought when you watched that game from the press box level at least, I mean, you could see you guys really were trying to establish kind of that Big Ten personality out there that, you know, we play different football now in the Big Ten and trying to give Oklahoma some problems up front.
Yeah, physicality was something we stressed throughout the whole week, and if we could win the line of scrimmage and make those guys earn every yard, it was going to be a long game for them. So in that aspect, I thought we did a nice job. We could have done better getting off on third down, and we have to continue to look at that, address that, and get back to the drawing board and be better.
So you faced a lot of good quarterbacks over your time at Nebraska. What jumped out about Spencer Rattler? I mean, what were some of the things that he was doing maybe that kind of gave you guys some problems at times?
Well, I know in the second half, they just lined up in a formation, waited for us to get in our coverage, and then just called plays based on that. So just knowing that moving forward, we can adjust some things on the defensive side of the ball and kind of, you know, show them one look and then get into another look by the time the clocks wind down. So, and then when it comes to Spencer, what stood out to me was he could sling the ball. He didn't have to step into his throws. He had a natural arm. He probably played baseball at some point. He could just spin it. So he had really nice pocket presence, and he could extend the play well. So I'll give him that.
Oklahoma, Nebraska, a lot of history, a lot of tradition with that series. Obviously, your first taste of it in your 6 years at Nebraska, but a lot of people around the state, that game meant a lot. Did you feel that as you were in the stadium, kind of maybe the history of that series and why it was important to so many people for so many years?
Yeah, you could feel it. There was something in the air, and I mean, all week it was kind of all building to that moment. So it was an unbelievable atmosphere. Nebraska fans always travel well. I love playing on grass. It played fast, and it was just, you know, one of those games you live for.
I'm going to put you on the spot here. What was one piece of Oklahoma, Nebraska history maybe you learned this week that you didn't know about?
Yeah, I learned the 1971 game that we were commemorating. Larry Frost was on, and that they were 14-point underdogs, and that they ended up winning 45-14. So, I mean, it doesn't matter who you are, and you got to come to play. So that's what I learned this week.
Did Coach Frost talk to you about some of the history just in his days with Oklahoma and Nebraska?
Not a whole lot. He did touch on the 1971 game and his pops, but other than that, he just said that, you know, they really want to beat us and we really want to beat them.
Now it's on to Michigan State, another road trip, 2 weeks in a row. And, you know, you never know what a matchup is going to be going into the season. And I think Michigan State now is all of a sudden a lot better than people realize. They won at Miami on Saturday, and they've got another impressive win over Northwestern already. What are your early thoughts going into this week against the Spartans?
I think Mel Tucker's a good coach and knows how to get guys to play hard for him. I'm sure they're going to be disciplined and they're going to play hard, so we also have to be disciplined and we have to play harder. We're on grass again, which will be fun. And we just have to continue to fire on all cylinders, take everything that we did good last week, build upon it, take the things we didn't do well, fix them, and move forward.
You mentioned grass. I mean, you guys are going to play grass 2 weeks in a row. There's some years you may not play on grass the whole year. It's got to be somewhat of. Do you guys practice on the grass a little bit, try to move on to the grass fields?
Yeah, our practice field's going to be pretty beat up after these 2 weeks. That's right. Yeah, I don't know too much. Haven't opened up the film. I'll watch that later tonight. But they're running back, obviously, and I think their scheme overall, they're just going to get their players the ball in space, kind of do some misdirection, and try to really leverage their players over the defense. So just like anything, we have to know our assets and liabilities on defense and do the fundamentals right.
Then finally, how important is it that you guys don't have that quote letdown, that you take a step forward from Norman? Because I think it would be so easy to maybe mentally not have the same level of preparation just because Oklahoma was Oklahoma. But how do you guys say, you know what, we got to keep that same level this week?
Absolutely. And I believe you never arrive at a destination. You're always moving in one way or another, forward or backwards. So we have to keep pushing forward. And if we blow it this week, ain't nobody going to think a thing about the Oklahoma. We come out and play to the best of our ability and what we're capable of, they're going to look at us a different way.
Well, JoJo, congrats on the good game against Oklahoma. Looking forward to seeing you this week at Michigan State.
Thanks, John.
All right, much more to come here as you are watching the Sandhills Global Husker Rewind powered by ABM. Up next, tight end Austin Allen will join us. And we're back here on the Sandhills Global Husker Rewind, powered by ABM. Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline, now joined by tight end Austin Allen. And Austin, obviously you guys came up short at Oklahoma, but you led the way in receptions for Nebraska in this game. You guys were able to establish a few things on offense. What did you like about just some of the things you guys were able to do offensively?
Yeah, like you said, I think we took a big step as an offense. I think Adrian really settled in and made the best of what he was given. He had to elude some guys here and there, but he made plays when the opportunity was there, and that's all we can ask for of Adrian. He didn't necessarily make the mistakes. As a whole, as an offense, we didn't really necessarily make the mistakes that we usually do by shooting ourselves in the foot. Penalties, I mean, we knew coming in, they stemmed the front, that it was going to be loud. Line's just got to be a little more disciplined in that area. But other than that, in terms of turning the ball over, I think we're pretty disciplined. But I think we took a step in the right direction as a football team.
Yeah, they had some speed guys on there, like Nick Benito, the linebacker, number 11, I believe. I mean, just some of those guys they had on that defense for Oklahoma really were some of the better guys that maybe you guys have faced in a while.
Yeah, we knew going in they were a very fast team. We knew that we might have an advantage in the physicality game, and that was kind of what we stressed all week, is be the more physical team, offense, defense, special teams, and we might like the outcome or might like our chances in this game. And we were pretty physical, and I like the way we came out and were physical. That just some things that didn't go our way necessarily, in say special teams, but all in all, I do like how we played as a football team this weekend.
And it was the fourth game of the year, and you finally got Travis Vokalek back next to you. And we talked about you guys all year. I mean, the scouts were watching you in fall camp, and he suffered the injury setback. Just to have him back out there with you for the first time, what kind of presence did that give your offense?
Yeah, it's huge having a guy like Travis back. A, he's a leader. B, he's a physical human. He's great in the blocking game, and C, he's just a good teammate to be out there. He's going to lead guys in the right path on this football team. But it's kind of nice we can get kind of into our 12 personnel hippo tight end sets, like we get back into them like we haven't been able to in the recent past. But it's great having a guy like Travis, because Travis is a playmaker, and I think Travis is going to play years in the league. And when you get guys like that back on the field, I think your team just overall is going to be better.
They really disguised a lot, too, with you guys. And when you look at the final numbers, a lot of the pass plays were play actions where they were designed to look like runs. I mean, did that keep OU off balance?
Yeah, Frost is we're going to watch film all week, and Frost is going to put in a nick and cranny here and there to what he likes best. And play action pass, play action power, blocking schemes is what he liked this week, and it got the tight ends open a couple of times. I mean, Travis had the big play coming back, and it's a funny story. First thing he said to me when he got off the sideline, he said, "Did I look slow?" Because it's his first game back, and I mean, I had to tell him he looked slow, but I think he did a great job coming back. But yeah, Frost got us in some good sets versus a very talented Oklahoma defense, and I like the way we executed as an offense.
And you added another tight end to your room, at least for this week, in Teddy Prohaska, and put on the number 46 jersey. What was that wrinkle, and kind of what went into that? Had that been something you had worked on for several weeks, or was that hey, we're doing this on Monday and Teddy's going to be featured as an extra tight end?
Yeah, here and there we've fondled with the idea of putting a bigger body type guy in there. I mean, we have sets. We showed DeAndre as in the backfield last week. So there's always stuff we have in our back pocket, but that set right there was more of a probably this week kind of game plan. Teddy's a great blocker. He's going to be a great football player for us. He's really young right now. But moving forward, I mean, that's something we can have in our back pocket too. I mean, it's hard to stop 3 tight ends on one side and adding a tight end with Teddy on the front side. So it was great to see him get out there and make some blocks. And I was looking at some grades, and I think he was one of the best blocking tight ends, so to say, in that game. So it was good to see him get reps and make plays for us.
You played now for Sean Beckton for 4 years, and you look at everything you guys had to overcome this year with the vocal leg injury, your concussion, and he's been able to get a lot of guys ready to get out there and step in. How good of a job has Sean Beckton done to get guys like Chancellor Brewington and Borricker and other guys like Chris Hickman out there to step in when you guys had that adversity, and now you got everybody back? Yeah,
you can't say enough good things about Coach Beckton. He's a great guy. He's a great coach. He's seen a lot of football. He's played a lot of football. He's been in our shoes. He understands the game of football. He's coached all around. He's coached DBs. He's coached receivers. He's coached tight ends now. So he has a good understanding of how to coach guys and how to approach guys' different styles of learning. And I think that's what makes him stand out in the coaching realm, so to say. But he knows how to get guys. He knows how to pull a receiver in. He's proved it with Hickman. He's proved it with Chancellor now, Brewington. He can pull a receiver in and make him into a tight end just like that. It's also a good – Frost is a good mastermind behind it by being able to bring a receiver-type body in and making play design sets for that body style and so to say. And it was, I'm very grateful to have him as my coach.
Then I got to ask you about Nebraska, Oklahoma, just the history of that series. Obviously, your first experience, did you feel a sense of history after kind of living through an OU Nebraska week, and especially one that commemorated the 50th anniversary of the 1971 game of the century?
Yeah, it was kind of stressed to us this week that the Oklahoma Nebraska game, it's always a physical bloodbath every year we played. And it's always the number 1 versus number 2 team playing. And I kind of felt that waking up this morning, that it was a physical football game. And there was 2 great teams out there battling, shedding blood on that field. And then I kind of got a feel of what it was like back in the old days, you can call it, when those guys were just leaving it all out there on the field. Because like you said, the game of the century was what we're commemorating. And it was a hard-fought football game, and it was tough, and it was bloody, and it was hard knock. Yeah, it was a bloodbath, but that's what we signed up for, and that's what we're here to play.
Well, yeah, and speaking of bloodbaths, you're going to see another one this week. You guys travel to Michigan State. It's a night game. They're undefeated, ranked. You have to expect, you were in a hostile environment this weekend. You have to think an undefeated, ranked Michigan State at night, it's going to be just as tough going on the road now, and you guys got to get up for another one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, playing any ranked team on the road is tough, especially Michigan State. Mel Tucker's got them going right now. We gotta build off what we learned last week, playing the number 3 team in the country. I think we took a big step, but we need to take another step this week in practice. We got to get ready for another ranked opponent now. I think they're 20. But they're on a hot streak. They went down to Miami and took care of business. So we got to take care of what we need to take care of this week in practice and go up and turn some heads.
Well, Austin, thanks for joining us on Husker Rewind, and congrats on the great game at Oklahoma.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, Sean.
All right, well, that wraps it up here for this edition of the Sandhills Global Husker Rewind, powered by ABM.